What if you knew exactly how to end the karma cycle trap permanently in your life? Well, the good news is that the karma cycle trap has been 100% discontinued by the multiverse. There is no such thing as karma anymore. However, within each of us, we have a karma program running. And unless we are able to isolate it and deactivate it, human beings will run around and continue to create negative experiences, negative karma for themselves, because it's a program that's built into your thinking. It's built into your interface with this world. And since this world now has shifted, because we are going through the new 5D shift, we are in it, it is happening. So if we want to shift over to the new reality, we have to stop operating from the old programming. That old programming was the karma cycle programming, which no longer is being supported by the universe. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can isolate it and how you can deactivate it, and even more importantly, how you can now tap into the new video game that has been created by the multiverse for you. You can't afford to be passive and hope that things just change on their own. You have to switch. You have to switch from one interface to the new interface. And we're going to talk about that in this video. So first we need to take a look at something very important that you need to understand. You have to change basic assumptions that you have about yourself, about your soul, about the multiverse, and about your relationship to the multiverse. So let's get to the most important one first, which is you are God playing his own video game. So your experiences, when you come into this illusion, this simulation, this video game called human life, when you're born into this, you're born into the karma cycle trap. You are programmed to function on that level. Now, in order for that to work, there has to be an assumption that you accept. And that is that you are a small, powerless little being. Religion has been doing this for 2,000 years. It's been telling you that you're born in sin, that you're going to go to hell, and unless you believe this particular religion, God hates you and God is punishing you. People have misinterpreted completely the Vedic Hindu understanding of karma, and even most Hindus believe that karma is basically sin and you have to escape karma. So this is something that's built into the way that we think, and it starts with the belief that you are nothing. That you are nothing and that you are unspiritual. We see this universe as humans are these tiny, evil, bad things, and then there are these higher beings, these gods, these spirit beings, the ascended masters, and we see them as these perfect beings of light, and we're these garbled, evil, messed up beings. That is part of the program. The truth is the exact opposite. I don't have time to talk about it right now, but it's a very interesting subject when you find out it's actually completely the other way around. But the assumption that you naturally carry with you just by experiencing the third dimension in a physical body is that you are this tiny little being that is at the mercy of things more powerful than you. And the reality is the opposite. The reality is that you are, in fact, the creator of this universe. You are the creator of this earth realm. And you chose to come here. And you chose to incarnate. And you chose to forget all of your power. Why would you do that? Because otherwise the video game doesn't work. And the whole point of the video game is for you to gain more power and gain more knowledge. So in order to do that, you have to forget that you know everything and that you are everything. So that's the first thing that happens, is that your experience when you're born is that you don't know what's going on and you're this tiny little being and everything affects you and controls you. But then you have the programming that is put into your mind by those that have been ruling this world for, as it turns out, 13,000 years. And they have been programming you to believe the worst part about it, that you're evil, you're sinful, the gods hate you, you're a horrible being, you have to be perfect. If you're not perfect and ascend to perfection, then you're this evil being and you have to suffer either with sin or with karma or with... So you're told to believe that. So the opposite is true. You have to get rid of that. Now, your nervous system believes that in order to survive, you must be afraid. This is one of the first things that you learn as an animal. So your physical body has an animal nature. And when you experience challenges and dangers in this third dimensional reality, you learn to rely on fear, on caution. If you've grown up in a home where you went through a lot of abuse, or you were neglected, or fill in the blank of whatever trauma you went through, you rely heavily upon your fear in order to survive. However, that is a tool of control that's done on purpose. They want you to be afraid so that they can control you. When somebody is afraid, they react. They don't think, they just react. And people who react are very easy to be controlled, and you can feed off of them. So first thing you have to accept, whether you have experienced it or not, you have to at least change the assumption that you are not this tiny little horrible evil being, but you are God who has chosen to come into this reality, and that you programmed this video game. And now that the karma cycle is over, you are being allowed to remember your true power. And when that happens, you completely control this game. So we'll talk about how that works. All right, so the game was designed to have you overcome your karmic challenge. This is the 3D game. That game has been shelved. The third dimension is being disassembled as we speak. But that's what the original game model was, that you came here and the video game is you are here to overcome your karmic challenge. Now, what's happening with the new video game that has been created? So the game is now designed to give you your most fulfilling, happy adventure. There's something I'm seeing on YouTube which I find very interesting. So what's happening now is I'm a surfer, just an avid surfer. So I watch videos of surfers. Most surfers are now, because I'm now 62, most of them are younger than me. So you got kids that are 25 years old and they're making videos. And what I'm finding interesting is how much guilt they have about surfing, how much guilt they have about taking trips to exotic surf destinations. The thing that's bothering them is that they're not making money. They think they should be working at some job and making a ton of money, and they're 25 years old and they're already thinking, oh my God, I've wasted so much of my life. All I do is surf. And it's, and I'm looking at it going, you're actually living real life right now. I know, I did the same thing. So I can see what they're doing, but their guilt is even more intense than mine was. That is because the people who are running this world want you to be a laborer. They want you to be a slave. They want you to be a slave within the Ponzi scheme so that you can make them more money. If you're out there experiencing life and surfing in exotic destinations, you're not making them money, so they have to make you feel guilty. That's programmed into you. That's the old game. The new game, the 5D simulation, because if we had zero simulation, we would just be consciousness floating in emptiness. So we like to have simulations that we can experience. Extraterrestrials, as a matter of fact, they all live in different simulations, many of them. They live in different dimensions. They can visit our dimension, they can visit our world, but they have their own worlds that has their own frequency and has their own video game that they enjoy doing. And the truth is, for extraterrestrials, they live a much kinder, gentler reality than we do. Earth is the most difficult video game in the entire multiverse. So this is where only the strongest come. If you're here, obviously watching this, you're human. It means you are among the strongest souls in the entire multiverse. The good news is that the harsh, difficult, third-dimensional Earth video game has ended. And everybody is now, you can go home. You're on summer vacation. You don't have to stay in school any longer. So now we get to create a new game. And in the new game, instead of overcoming intense karmic challenges, the new game is how much fun can you have? The new game is you are going to now have the most fulfilling, the most pleasant, the most happy, the most joyful, the most fun reality that you can create. And that's the game. How fun of a reality can you create for yourself? In order for that to work, you have to buy into that. You have to choose, you have to opt in to the new game. So the game now is designed to give you your most fulfilling, happy adventure. The game used to automatically give you whatever you focused on. This is interesting. So the way that the old karmic video game was designed, many of you are still living it, you don't realize it. I just realized myself just recently what the new game was, and I've started playing the new game for real this time. But the way the old game used to work was that if you focused on feeling sorry for yourself, if you focused on being angry, if you focused on being afraid, if you focused on being greedy, if you focused on wanting control over others, then the Matrix would then throw those things at you. So you've seen it. You've seen people who are constantly complaining. They feel sorry for themselves. They blame other people. And you can see, it's very obvious that they're creating their own misery. But we can't see it in ourselves. We can't see how we do it. Well, mine is different. So that's how the game used to work. And within that, there were people that used to focus on having fun and being successful and being happy. And they were willing, they had an ability to, to sort of dodge all of the negativity that was flying around, or the guilt, or, for instance, in the example I gave earlier, there'd be people who go, I don't care if I make a lot of money. I'm surfing and I'm enjoying myself, and who cares? And then the other people are like, yeah, I went on this surf trip to Bali, but now I need to go back to my first world country, and I need to make a lot of money, and I'm wasting my life. And they're only 25 years old, and they think they're wasting their life. That's their choice. They can choose to focus on whatever they want, and in the old game, that's what would manifest for you. In the new game, there's a new way that the interface is working. So now the game only creates your soul's most interesting adventure. Now, at first glance, that sounds really interesting. Oh, good, I can relax. It's true, you can. However, built in within the game is that the game now is designed to drive you towards your destiny. And your destiny is to be as happy and fulfilled as you can possibly stand. That's the 5D destiny. That's where you're really going to accomplish something. The old game was, I have to go and work for the man and make some money and I gotta have a bunch of kids, and I have to have a mortgage, and then I go and retire, and then I can look back on my legacy, how much money I made, and give it to my kids. That's how the thing used to work. And so people were allowed to be miserable, or they were allowed to live in, what I call compromise land. They compromise on their dreams. Again, in the old world, the old 3D world, you could have decided to just live for your dreams. It would be harder. You'd have to work harder at it, but you could do it, and you could live free from all of that nonsense. But if you wanted to just live in the middle and just sort of have some freedom for yourself on the weekends and go to the church and feel guilty, and work for 30 years at some job you couldn't stand. As long as you had kids and you were good, you could play that middle ground. And then, of course, there were the people that could create misery for themselves. And everybody was learning from whatever they were doing. That was the whole point. The soul was learning about living from the soul regardless of what they were experiencing. What I say, if I see somebody and they're destroying their lives, I remind myself, I go, that's their experiment. They're experimenting with consciousness, and they're going to figure out whatever they're going to figure out. It's not my business. But what is going to happen now is what has been happening for me most of my life, and people who, if you want to call them starseeds, people, there are a select group of people, and always have been, who are called to be shamans, healers, spiritual practitioners. And what happens with these people in the past is, if they tried to live the normal workaday world, or they tried to live in what I call compromised land, nothing would work. They wouldn't be able to be successful. All the doors would close in front of them. And so once they went towards what they were supposed to do, then the doors would open and everything would work. They might never be rich or famous, but they would always have everything that they need. And if they chose to not get involved in the nonsense, they could be very happy and fulfilled. So that is going to be the norm now. So that means everybody who could live in compromised land. Everybody, the world that I just look at and I just shake my head. I don't know how people do it. Like when I go to big cities, New York, Los Angeles, Paris, cities. I've never been to Paris, but I'm sure if I went there, I would go, what the hell are these people doing? Because people who live in cities get so wrapped up in reputation, in virtue signaling, what they're wearing, how much money they have, all of that stuff, and they get in these little bubbles of I don't even know what it is, artificial nonsense, and I don't get it. I can't tolerate being around that. I've never felt comfortable around that. I've always felt comfortable in nature, in the mountains, in the ocean, even in the desert, in places that I'm surrounded by beautiful, wonderful nature. That is where I've been the most happy, because that's real, that's not fake. And so I've always only been successful when I've only focused on the things that give me the deepest joy, and doing the things that I have the most passion about. And so that's why ever since I completely 100% walked away from that whole life, which took me a while. It took me until I was almost 50 years old, and I said, I'm done trying to do this thing. I got divorced, walked away from, doing that thing and being the house husband and all that garbage. I walked away from all that, and I just lived my life completely on the edge, sometimes barely surviving, but doing only what I wanted to do. And I have been happy with that. And now we're living in a world where that is what's going to be rewarded. The people, you watch, society is going to change. Finances are going to change. The economy is going to collapse. Everything is going to change. And the only people who are going to be successful, meaning that they have all of their resources given to them, they're physically healthy, they're physically happy, they have good relationships, are people who are only doing the things that give them the greatest joy. The people that do that are the ones that are going to be the most successful, and that is how the new game is being designed. Now that sounds on paper really good until you try to live it. Don't believe me? If you've got a job in some company somewhere, and you go in a building and you wear a tie and you go to a cubicle or an office, I dare you to just drop it all. Just drop it all, walk away, drive your car someplace you've never been, and just experience enjoying your life. It's very tough. It's an easy thing to say, and it's another thing to do it. But this is where the world is going to go. So now the game only creates your soul's most interesting adventure. If you resist the new game design, you will experience extreme negativity. So that means if you try to deny your soul's desire, all the doors will close on you. You will find yourself broke. You will find yourself sick. You will find yourself miserable. You will find yourself suicidal. It happened with me. I'm seeing it happen with others. And if that's happening, it means that you're not listening to your soul. Your soul's telling you to go do something completely, totally crazy in terms of the world, and something that you've maybe never done before. And it's going to feel really frightening. But once you do it and commit to it 100%, then all the resources start coming to you. And the energy in your body gets completely functional, which means you become healthy. You might have some resistance in the beginning. That's normal. That's what people like me are for. That's what teachers are for. My job is to help you through your resistance so that you can live your greatest, happiest life, and so that you can get everything that you want. That's my job. My job is to help you get everything that you want. But that means I have to tell you the truth, and that means I'm going to tell you to look at things and do things, and I'm going to reveal things about you that you're going to not be very comfortable with. That's okay. You don't have to like me. I'm only interested in your happiness. All right. So if you resist the new game design, you will experience extreme negativity. All right. How to end the 3D karmic video game. So I promised you I was going to tell you how to do that. Remember, the karma program within you is running. It has to be isolated and deactivated. If you don't do that, my experience and my observation is you're going to get pulled into the lower frequency, old karmic earth that's now starting to spin down into an even lower frequency. So we can't just wait around for it to happen. We have to actively do something. So how do you do that? So you end your karmic video game membership. So I want you to think of it like that. That living the Ponzi scheme, making money for the evil overlords, and like these young guys 25 years old who feel guilty because they spent a week living in a tent in Bali and surfing perfect waves out in tropical paradise. They feel guilty because they should have spent that 2 weeks behind some computer doing some nonsense. So you have to end your membership in the karmic video game. You have to make that decision. I'm gonna stop paying my membership dues, which is your energy. I'm gonna stop paying my membership dues, and I'm no longer going to participate in the karmic cycle. So, list all of your victim programs. It's amazing. Listen, all day today, I'm listening to all this victim mentality in my own head popping up. My head. What happens is I'll create arguments in my head. Today I was getting in an argument with somebody in my head that I hadn't seen in 40 years. It's an old program. It's looking for ways to make me feel afraid, make me feel guilty, make me feel worried about the future. It's designed to do that because those things make you run to the Ponzi scheme, where you want to go buy insurance, or you want to go get a mortgage on your house, or you want to go invest in this, or you want to get stocks, or you want to get a new job, or you have to do something to get more money coming in. That's where that comes from. It comes from this fear and this negativity. So make a list. If you hear, your head tell you, life is unfair, write it down. Life is unfair. Evil, dark, false beings of light trap you in reincarnation. Evil, false beings. Write them all down. All of the things that make you feel afraid, that make you feel small. List them so that you can see them, because otherwise they're just constantly in there pecking at you, and you don't even realize it. You respond to them without even realize what's happening to you. It's called becoming conscious. So list all of your victim programs. 3, reject your victim programs. So once you have them and you can read them, I'm not supposed to surf all the time. I'm supposed to have a retirement fund. What that, my head doesn't think like that, but a lot of people my age think like that. Write that down and then reject it. I reject that. For instance, I don't have a permanent place to live. Now that bothered me for the past couple of years because I was off gallivanting around in Australia and just living by the seat of my pants and surfing. And I had to come back because of their immigration protocol, whatever. So I came back, and now that I'm back in my own country, I immediately, without even thinking about it, fell into, I have to get a permanent place to live. Well, my attempts to do that have failed horrendously. And then I just realized that I don't have to have a permanent place to live. I can bounce around. There's literally nothing stopping me. And the truth is, I don't want to be in any one spot for the entire year all the time. I want to bounce around with the weather and with the seasons. That's what makes me happy. So why shouldn't I do that? This is how I'm rejecting the old programs. So reject your victim programs. 4, ruthlessly work through traumas. So look, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching my entire life. I'm here to tell you that the majority of people that come to me are people with major traumas. And I'm glad because I can help you through that. And these are really, the truth is people who are the people who spiritually advance the fastest are the people who are aware that they have traumas to work through. It's the people that don't realize that stay in the victim Ponzi scheme. But if you know you've got pain, if you know you've got trauma to work through, then at least you have that. And that pain can help you, because if you start going down the wrong path, that pain is going to kick in. So people like me, this is what a teacher is here for. A teacher is here to help you let go of your false preservation instincts. The reason why most people don't follow direction from a teacher isn't because it's too hard. It's because the teacher is giving you something to do that violates your self-preservation programming, which is designed to keep you in the matrix. That's what, I've said before, you can either feel safe, or you can act with bravery. Those are your only 2 choices. So ruthlessly work through your traumas. 5, join groups, find a teacher, teach others. So stop doing it on your own. Especially what happened, over the past 4 or 5 years, that was designed to make you completely isolate from other people. And that is done on purpose, because if you're isolating, you're much more easily to be controlled, because they can control what information gets to you, and they can control what you do and what you hear and what you believe. And you end up needing to feel connected, so you connect directly to Big Brother, as opposed to connecting to the source or connecting to people around you. So stop isolating. Join groups, whatever they are. Find people who are doing this kind of work. Don't isolate. Find a teacher, teach others. So I talked about that before. If you want to evolve, there's got to be some work with a mentor or a teacher. Don't teach yourself. That's the most idiotic thing anybody can do. That's like trying to be a surgeon and do surgery on yourself. Go ahead. You can't do it. You're going to have to, even if you're a brilliant surgeon, you're going to find somebody who's going to cut you open and stitch you up. You can't do it yourself. So the idea that you're going to teach yourself is ridiculous. Your broken brain can't fix a broken brain. But If you're working with somebody who's been where you are and is just a couple of steps ahead of you, can tell you where to step and where not to step. That is what a teacher is for. We all need them. And again, to all those of you, there's a bunch of you who watch my channel who think you call me your teacher. And I appreciate the gesture, but I haven't even met any of you. Some of you I work with, some I've worked a little bit, and a lot of you I've never even met. And yet you call me your teacher. So if you really want me to be your teacher, it means that you have to work with me. A teacher-student relationship is a two-way street. If you're just watching videos or reading books, then it's all inside of you. And it's not, you don't get all the benefit out of that you could. So find a teacher and then teach others. You've been following this channel and you've been doing the Maoshan practices, and you're like, well, I'm not the best in the world. So what? You know more than somebody who's never done it. Start your own Qigong classes. Start your own 5-element Maoshan spirit fighting classes. You'll end up learning even more by teaching. Teaching is the best way because you end up teaching other people what you need to learn. So not only find people that you can learn from, but then share your knowledge with others in whatever way is best for you. Expand into your 5D identity. All right, this is where we do the CE5 and the interdimensional meditation. We're doing one later tonight. This is Wednesday. By the time I upload this, it might be time for the video. But we're going to be doing one later tonight. We do them every Wednesday and Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's probably going to change over the next months because I'm going to be gallivanting across the country. So as I go into different time zones, the meditation's time might change. But anyway, we do those twice a week. And CE5 is human-initiated contact with higher dimensional beings. If you want to, all you have to do is just type in CE5 protocols. There's groups all over the world, all Facebook groups everywhere. There's plenty of places to go do that. I recommend you do that. Why? Because the bottom line is, without getting into the specifics, what you're really doing is you are consciously making the decision to reach out beyond this third dimensional video game. And when that happens, your consciousness is going to expand. Just by making that attempt, your consciousness will expand. And interdimensional meditation, that's what we do here. Interdimensional meditation is same thing, but we just take it a little deeper. We go much more deeply into connecting into these higher dimensional realms. And I guide these meditations. So, if you want, please feel free to come onto the channel and be a part of those. They're very interesting, and they will expand your identity into your higher self. So that's number 6. Number 7, optimize your energy delivery system. So your physical body isn't just a housing unit for your soul. Your physical body beyond that is an energy delivery system. So I made a video a couple days ago about the 3 energies within the body. So just eating food and breathing oxygen and sleeping, that is just the surface level. That's the minimum requirement to be able to have a soul in a body. And that's, your experience is going to be at that superficial level. You want to have a much deeper level of conscious soul interaction with your reality, then you have to activate the energies. So optimize the energy delivery system is meaning take care of this body. You have to. I can tell you, I'm 62, so I can tell you, if you don't actively seek to take care of your body, it will start falling apart. You're 25, you're 30 years old, you can treat your body like crap and you're indestructible. But once you start going over that, once you go past 35, by the time you're my age, I don't even recognize the majority of people my age. And I wouldn't want to be them. I like my energy delivery system, and I like experiencing this world. So that's the first thing, your health. The second thing is the energy delivery system. Your physical body gives you access to the three energies. The first one is chi, life force energy. That's what qigong is. Pranayama, breath work. This is extremely healing, and that in and of itself is a practice. There's thousands of ways to do that, and it's very important. You have to have strong connection to life force energy to be able to spiritually as well as physically function. The second energy is the Kundalini, and that is a very specific energy. It's not life force energy. It is energy connected to the nervous system and the brain, which helps you to connect consciously to higher dimensional realms. It gives you a spiritual identity. This is why, the yogis have such a powerful spiritual practice and identity. It's because they're focused on Kundalini and raising and awakening the Kundalini. And then the third energy is an unknown energy. You've heard me talk about it if you're not new to my channel. It's called the Xi, X-I, the Xi. And it is the electromagnetic higher dimensional energy surrounding the soul that when it is awakened and activated and released through the meridians of the nadis and the nervous system and the meridians of the energy meridians of the body, then you end up downloading higher dimensions. Very powerful, very concentrated higher dimensional energy. When you have all three of these energies going at the same time, now you are a God walking on the earth. And that is your ultimate goal. So, optimize your energy delivery system. Activate and balance your 5 elements. 5 elements are ether, air, fire, water, earth. Or the Taoists call it wood, metal, fire, water, earth. These have to do with the 5 basic emotions. They have to do with the 5 internal organs. Without them, you cannot spiritually evolve, and psychologically you cannot function if your 5 elements are not empowered and balanced and cleansed. I go into depth teaching you how to do that. And if you click thunderwizard.com and click on membership, if you click on membership, you see on the left here, Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. I teach you about the 5 elements. Now, if you want to get real serious about the 5 elements, then you can do what you see here on the bottom left, the wood set, then you see the metal set, the fire set, the water. There's also an earth set. Those will take your 5 elements up to an even higher level. So that's the next thing that I recommend that you do, is to activate and balance your 5 elements. Activate your navel power center. So we talked about that yesterday. I won't go into too much depth in it, but your navel, right now in this 5D shift, we're shifting into this new 5D. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I can tell you we are on phase 1 of at least 3. And phase 1 has to do with completely activating, overhauling, and reconstructing our navel center. This is our power base. It's not only our power base, it is our willpower, it is our identity, and it is your mind, your ability to perceive and to see and to intend and plan and understand and comprehend reality. This happens in the navel. So I teach how you can do that. I have been given practices from higher dimensional beings, which I've been practicing for years, and I now understand why. And the reason why, those of you following me, why I'm focusing so much on the Hands of Infinity, which I've just released, because that empowers the navel center from the level of the Xi. Very, very empowering. It gives you incredible power over your reality. But when we're talking about creating reality, seeing your new world, then there's another practice that I teach, which is this one, the Dark Warrior of the North, Tortoise and Snake, also called Xuan Wu, Xuanwu. and you can see me here doing it. This is just the last part of it. This will absolutely, completely reorganize your naval power center. You're not only using the power of the navel, you're also using the power of earth and the power of water and the powers of yin and yang. All of these are coming together to give you an ability to birth a new world and see for yourself a new reality. So I recommend you do that. That can be found at both of these websites, thunderwizard.com, click on shop, or maoshan.thunderwizard.com. You can find it there. So that is how we would, what was I talking about? That is how we, how to activate the 5D naval powers. Let's see, where was I? That isn't what I was talking about. Okay, activate your naval power center. All right, so there was a whole, I talked about this yesterday. So I basically have said that already. So again, guys, the Hands of Infinity is a very important practice. I recommend that you do the 5 element spirit fighting sets first, because it's very important that the 5 elements are activated and the Shi is activated in all 5 of the elements, and then go into the Hands of Infinity. That's what I recommend. It doesn't have to be done that way, but I recommend it being done that way. And I believe that everybody should be doing Xuan Wu. If you're following my channel and you take anything I say with any positive acceptance, I'm telling you from my own experience and my observation, I think this is the practice for the emerging 5D. What Tai Chi was 100 years ago to people, it was brand new. It used to be a completely unknown, isolated martial arts form. And because it was so powerful in opening up the Qi system, the Qi meridian system, and balancing the 5 elements of the Qi within the body and giving people health and awakening and spirituality, it was taken from being a really sacred, secret martial art into a physical healing practice that now everybody in the world does. So I believe that Xuan Wu will be another one of those. And for right now, I believe that's the one that's helping even average people who aren't doing, high-level Maoshan practices awaken to the shift of the navel, empowering the navel center. This is what's going to happen. I don't know how long phase 1 is going to last in this 5D shift, but as long as we're in phase 1, the focus is going to be completely awakening and empowering the navel center, and there is nothing more powerful than this form, Xuan Wu. Not there, this one, yeah. Okay, so I think I was going to go through all of this stuff here, but I don't see any need to do that. Anyway, that's it, my friends. I hope you got something out of this. And again, leave in the comments section if you have any questions. And I read all of the comments, and I respond to the ones that I think are good questions and are respectful. I respond to those. But again, if you want to think of me as your teacher, you can do that. I can't stop you. Follow the channel, read my books, watch my videos, buy the videos, do them. By all means, I absolutely support that. You say you want me as your teacher, you've got to work with me directly. The way to do that is you go to Patreon here. You go to thunderwizard.com, click on memberships, and you'll see all the different ways that you can interact with me. If you have a question about it, leave it in the comments section. I will respond. So that's it, my friends. You can walk away from karma. You do not have to live the karmic trap anymore. And I'm just not buying into any of it. It tries to keep pulling me back into it, but I'm just not listening to it anymore. And hopefully I'll continue to be able to do that. And hopefully we can do that together. But I definitely see now my life going forward and the freedom and the joy that I feel just knowing that I'm going to live doing exactly what I want, when I want, how I want to do it. And knowing that that is what's going to give me not only the greatest satisfaction, but also the greatest prosperity. I would love to share that with you, and I'd love to see people operating from that place. Whatever it is that gives you happiness, go do it. I'm here to help you with that. That's all, my friends. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. Please be very good to yourselves, and we'll see you all very soon.